Welcome! Micron stock has taken a beating in the last 6 months, and many investors are still selling it. This includes many of the world's richest people. Recently, it rose around 15% in one day just because of some good news. So today, we're analyzing if Micron is still worth the buy or not. We start from company overview, financial analysis, risks, and lastly, calculate our intrinsic value. Overview. Micron was founded in 1978 in the USA. Micron Technology is one of the largest manufacturers of computer memory and computer data storage. Specifically, dynamic random access memory, flash memory, and USB flash drives. From these, Micron's main business segments are DRAM and NAND. As a market, the semiconductor industry, especially the memory market, is highly cyclical. We have seen fluctuations driven by demand and supply in the consumer electronics, data centers, and mobile devices, changing from time to time quite radically. And on top of that, Micron has some competition from Samsung and Western Digital. Financials. Right now, Micron's forward PE stands around 11. They are paying a small dividend quarterly. Short interest is somewhat elevated. Last 10 years, it has returned about 180%, and in the last 5 years, it has returned around 130%. And these numbers are without dividends. Micron's revenues has gone up over the years. But as you can see, sometimes the cyclical nature of the business makes some serious down years, as we can see from the history. But still, on general, the multi-year horizon revenues are going up. Same can't be said about the EPS. EPS has been all over the place in the last decade. Mostly positive returns though. It will be hard to estimate any future returns based on Micron's history because of the unpredictability. The newest quarterly report had a beat on estimates and the stock rose about 15%. The rise was due to the high recent demand on data centers, including high growth in the AI center memory sales. Micron's forward PE paints a better picture of the story than its PE from last year's numbers. The 12 months EPS is around $1.27, so the PE from that would be around 85 right now. Risks. Micron has good potential, but I see some risks I don't like. First one is just the cyclical nature of the business. To me, when buying cyclical companies, you need to understand the business way better and deeper than a normal investor. Ideally, I would like to have a profession in that business or someone who knows more than the normal investor. This way, I would at least have a better chance to predict when and how the cycle starts and ends. Second risk I see is the oversupply of memory and more specifically the data center supply. There is no doubt in my mind that in the future we will need more and more data centers. But I feel like the demand side is booming right now, but what happens when the demand fades? Right now, everybody wants AI chips, which in turn requires Micron's chips. But is this demand going to go forever? I would speculate that the demand would go on for a year or two and then die down. Intrinsic value. Now let's calculate the intrinsic value for the company. This one is going to be a hard one to estimate. Last year's EPS is around only $1.27, and the forward EPS is estimated to be around $9.17. The newest quarterly report came in where the EPS was $1.18, and the analyst expected to grow to almost $3 within the year. I would speculate that the demand will go on for a few years and then die down and go way lower after that. So I would estimate 11% on average for the next 5 years and then 0% for the next 5 years. My speculation is that it will grow way faster for a couple years, then slowing and ultimately going down, repeating the cyclical process. Micron's PE ratio has been all over the place in its history. I would estimate that a good PE ratio for a company growing but somewhat slowly and not very predictably would be around 13. And as always, I would like a 12% return on my money. With these numbers, we get to an intrinsic value of around $140. Here you can also see different prices and returns with the same estimations. In conclusion, Micron has some potential to get some great returns, but it all depends on the demand of the market. I would expect to get some good returns if the boom still goes on and the sales come as expected. On the other hand, it wouldn't go well for Micron if the big companies decide that they have invested enough on data centers. Personally, I won't be buying the stock. This is because I don't know the industry that well and I don't like the cyclical nature of the business. Also, I feel like the future growth has been already priced into the stock. EPS was around $1 last year and it's supposed to be $9 the next. Well, what about you? Are you buying Micron because of the current news? Is it a bad business or just a misunderstood one? Please just comment below and hit the sub. And as always, don't lose your money and safe travels.